can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, good. Well, we'll get started then. If you've got a question for Coach Hamilton, just use the raise hand tool. If you're joining us and need access to record, let me know that as well. All right, first up today is Bob Ferrant. Go ahead, Bob.
Hey, good morning, Coach. I wonder, looking back at the film of the Georgia Tech game, there are a lot of relatively close-up shots, some in the lane, around the lane that just didn't fall down. Looked like good looks, but just didn't get them to fall. Is there any kind of common denominator there as far as some of those opportunities missed?
Well, we're not the normal Florida State perimeter shooting team that we've had in the past, and so we have to generate offense, deflection, steals, transitions, and we need to do a better job of attacking the basket. That's who we are this particular year, and we had some very, very good looks, shots that you want to take, but it didn't fall for us, and that's been kind of the theme of this year. So what we have to do is maybe move the ball a little bit more. We had too many shots that we took with no more than two passes, and not the reversals that we become accustomed to using to create more wide open, uncontested shots and lanes to drive to the basket. We are struggling with that, and but where we got hurt in the Georgia Tech game is we got dominated on the boards, and we're too athletic and too long to allow that to happen. That's a lack of focus on our part, even though that was what we emphasized all week. We've been consistent in that area of not being as effective on the boards, and I think that's where we lost the game against Georgia Tech. I mean, when you look at the numbers, we were even, close to being even everywhere except on the boards, and the ability to get the offensive boards after we've gotten stops, I can't kind of did us in.
Gene Wong, go ahead.
Yes. Hey, Leonard. So with the ACC tournament coming back to DC for the first time in 8 years, the conference from a coaching perspective looks a lot different than it was back then. You know, you, Brad, Tony, and Jim that are coming back. Just want to get your perspective on kind of how the conference has changed or evolved, and just what it says or what it means with Kay gone, Roy, Jim Boeheim, Mike Brace, to name a few. Just the thoughts on the state of the conference heading back to DC.
Well, I hope I'm not repeating myself. I've said this many times on this topic, is that the league has gotten significantly better from top to bottom. But there's a theory out there that doesn't necessarily appreciate how the flagship teams in our league have helped schools like Miami and Florida State and people who just recently joined the league, how much we have gotten better. Now, we're not a very good team this year, but for the most part, we've been pretty consistent and extremely competitive. And for whatever reason, people equate the teams emerging and more competitive with the upper echelon teams. That's a negative, and in reality, it's a positive. And how do I justify saying that? Well, if you go back and do a statistical analysis over the last 10, 15 years, regardless of where we are ranked and what the conversation is about the ACC, when you look at what happens in the Final Four, we always are standing somewhere very respectable. Elite 8, Elite 16, Final Four on a consistent basis. And so when people in the media and the guys who, receive benefits from being talking heads about what conference is better than another, they're not held accountable for their for their analogies at the beginning and during the year, and that does not seem to be something that we've communicated to the public, to the basketball world. Now, I told you so. Regardless of what they say, Florida, the ACC needs 3 teams, 4 teams, 5 teams, and this conference needs 9 teams. But then when they get to the NCAA tournament, those 9-team bids are always looking at the 5-team ACC sitting where they always have been and will consistently be there.
Thank you.
We'll go next to David Teal.
Leonard Jameer is, I think, scored at least 15 points in 7 consecutive games. Is he getting better as the season goes along?
No doubt. He's become the most consistent player on our team, and all the defenses are setting their defenses to guard him. And he seems to always find a way, to produce the numbers to give us a chance to be successful. So you have to admire that and respect it, that he's one of those guys that finds a way to be the stable player in our system, and we seem to all play off of him.
Last question will come from Stephen Thompson. Go ahead, Stephen.
Hi, Coach. Pitt's offense has been kind of up and down at certain points this season, but their defense has been pretty consistently good. What stands out to you about them from a defensive perspective?
Well, obviously, I'm concerned about their offense. I'm more concerned about my defensive perspective, how we going to defend them as successful as they have been from the offensive standpoint. Defensively, obviously, they got quickness and speed and athleticism. They got great anticipation. I think Coach has done a great job with them this year. We have our hands full with them. Last year we split with them, but they turned it up a notch. We played them the second time, and we had a very difficult time scoring against their solid man-to-man defense.
Leonard, thank you for the time today and all season. We appreciate it.